Assalamu alaikum, grade 8. We're going to geometry of straight lines now, right? We're on page 168 of the textbook. So if you open your textbook there, you can follow with me in the video, right? And we're doing the terminology, so it just means we need to read the words. An angle measures the amount an arm turns around a point. So what is happening here? If you look at this diagram here, you have one arm which is called AB, that's an arm, and then you've got another arm here which is BC. So what has happened is that you have started with your protractor, right? If you're measuring with your protractor and you're checking how much has this arm here turned from there. So if say for instance this AB was here at the bottom, it's turned. So we are measuring the angle there. This part means the angle, and we are measuring how much the arm has turned. And then if, for example, they're saying 30 degrees, then you write down 30 and you put a small degree sign there, and we read it as 30 degrees, right? You can see here they've marked this point as the vertex. Where the two arms of the angles meet at a point, the point is called the vertex. So when we're naming the angles, okay, you can call the angle angle B, and you say angle B is equals to 30 degrees, or you can say ABC. We can call it ABC, but B is in the middle, where the vertex is in the middle, and we put a small copy on there, and we're saying angle ABC is equals to 30 degrees. So we're saying angle ABC. So we're showing that the vertex is at B and the angle is actually at B, right? So that's two ways of naming. This way is a better way, and what we actually need to learn. Then we have a perpendicular line. So if we have a line that we have two lines and the arm has turned now, see, if for instance this arm was like this, AB was flat, we turned it until we have measured it and it has come to 90 degrees. You see, if you put your protractor down and we're measuring where that arm is at 90 degrees. So the symbol is, this symbol here indicates that it's 90 degrees. We have to learn that, and we have to know it, and we have to know that this is called a perpendicular line when the angle becomes 90 degrees, right? So obviously you guys know that we use a protractor to measure angles, and one full rotation, if you're measuring from one side of the ray right around, we're going in a complete circle, it measures 360 degrees. We're going to do that a bit later on, you will see, right? When we're measuring half a rotation, means we are measuring from one side. We're measuring, if we start measuring, we're measuring from 0 here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, half of it becomes 180 degrees. So it becomes half a rotation is 180 degrees, a full rotation is 360 degrees. A quarter rotation becomes 90 degrees, and what do we call it? We call it a perpendicular line. Those two lines are perpendicular, and we can put in a sign there to say that that is 90 degrees. Okay, I've turned the page to page 169, and now we're going to learn how to name angles. So when we're naming the angles, we have to sort of measure the angles. Okay, so when you measure the angles, according to the amount of degrees that you're getting per angle, that's how you name the angle. Okay, so now let's look at the different types of angles here. Okay, we're going to look at different types of angles and how do we name those angles. Each one has a size and each one has a name. So now this is what we did on the previous page. If you have a ray, a line PQ and QR, we can call this angle here, which one is my vertex? Q is going to be my vertex. I can call it angle Q, right? So I just put a copy there. Now if I've got AB and BC, I can call it angle ABC. So why have I put B in the middle? Because B is my vertex, and that is where the angle is. So I call it angle ABC. Okay, so now look at this one. We have a line and we have a ray CB, but then now there's two angles there. There's B1, which this part is, if you measure it here, this is B1, and if you're measuring this part here, we're getting B2. So B1 is ABC. Can you see? ABC. So then my vertex point is still B there. That's my vertex point. I've got ABC and my copy is on top of the B. So that's how I can name B1. And B2 can be CBD. So can you see the copy is on the B there? So CBD is the same thing as B2. It's the same thing whichever way you name it, and you have to know how to name how to read those diagrams and see what is B1 equals to and B2 equals to, right? So let's move on to the names are given to angles according to their size. This is what's the important word. Okay, so I have the description of an angle, and the first one is I'm saying it's an acute angle. What do I mean when I have an acute angle? As you get used to doing geometry problems, it comes to you immediately. You don't need to think and learn it off by heart. Acute angles look like this here. So anywhere between 0 and 90 degrees. So let me show you on the protractor. So if this is my protractor here, right? And I'm measuring this angle here. This angle here, I'm getting 10, 20, 30, somewhere there. So it's about 33, 34 degrees, somewhere there, right? That's the line there. So any angle that I'm measuring from 0 to 90, so in this section here, if I'm measuring an angle that's 10, 20, anywhere in between 25, 35, 40, 47, 56, 70, 72, 80, 81, anything until I come to 90 degrees, right? All those angles. So this X here is less than 90 degrees, right? So what we're saying is it's less than 90 degrees and it's greater than 0. Okay, so you don't have to learn how to write this here as that. You need to understand that it's greater than 0 and less than 90 degrees. This is the important part. So we're looking at anything less than 90 degrees and greater than 0 becomes an acute angle. So any one of those angles in that range, we would call it, if you measure it or they give you the measurement, you would name it an acute angle. Then we have a right angle, which is easy. We did it with the perpendicular lines where it's exactly equal to 90 degrees. So if we measure it, can you see? Can you see the line there? It's got 90 degrees. So we've got X is 90 degrees. And remember, that's a special sign to denote that it's a right angle. So you have to know the name of a right angle. And how much is a right angle equals to? 90 degrees. How much is an acute angle equals to? Less than 90 but greater than 0, right? Now we go to an obtuse angle. So remember we stopped here with acute angle at 90 degrees. Now an obtuse angle is we're going from the 90 degree line that we got there, right? Remember when I was looking at my acute angles, I'm looking from 0 to there. Anything in that quarter there. Now I'm going the other way around. I'm not saying 90. 90 is my right angle. So from 91 degrees, anything more than 90, I'm carrying on. I've got 90, then 100, 110, 120, 125, 130, anything 132, 141, 155, 160. I'm carrying on and on and on, but I'm stopping less than 180 degrees. So I'm looking from 90 to 180. Anything between those. Not the 90 degree angle and not the 180 degree angle, right? So greater than 90 degrees but less than 180. So greater than 90 and less than 180. Remember here, if I draw an imaginary line here, from this 0 to 90, I would have an acute angle. So anything drawn here, if I draw a line like that, a line like that, a line like that, that angle would be all acute angles. But once I've passed my 90 degrees here, those angles start coming to an obtuse angle. But remember, it's stopping before 180 degrees. So that's how we get an obtuse angle. So it's between 90 and 180. Okay, so now we come to a straight angle. A straight angle means that x is equals to 180 degrees. So if I'm putting it flat there and I'm measuring from 0 to there, I'm coming right around and my measurement is giving me exactly equals to 180 degrees. So like how this is, can you see it's 90 plus 90? If you draw a perpendicular there, you'll get a 90 plus another 90, it gives you 180 degrees. That's the easy one, right? Now we get a reflex angle. Okay, now we're saying we're turning it after this here. So look, we've turned it from before 90 degrees for the acute angle, then we've gone from 90 to 180 to get our obtuse angle, and then after that we had our straight angle. Now what we're doing is we're going further, and from 180 we're measuring an angle, right, that goes more than 180 degrees. So what is happening on your protractor is you're getting from 0 right up to 360 degrees. So what we're doing is we're measuring any angle that's coming from 0 here, right? So remember, if I'm measuring an angle that is this size here, this is called the reflex angle, the one that is outside. So let me break it up for you. Okay, so just say, imagine this is a perpendicular. So this would become how much? That would become from here to there, I would get 90 degrees, right? Then let me draw an imaginary straight line. I've got another 90 degrees there. So that's how I get my straight angle. So if I've measured from here to here, I've already got 180 degrees. My reflex angle means I'm carrying on measuring. So I've got 180 degrees plus a little bit more here. So I have to measure that part there. Okay, so I've got, for example, another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This would be another 55 degrees. So I'm carrying on measuring there, and you can see the reflex angles are drawn at the bottom of the 180 degree line. So look at this one here. Can you see how the reflex angle is? It's great. So that's why if we turn it completely, can you see that's a revolution? Would be equals to 360 degrees. A revolution is equals to 360 degrees. But from 180, remember here the straight line is giving you 180. So anything from 180 to 360 greater than 180 and less than 360 becomes a reflex angle. So if you're measuring this one here, you can see where it is there. It's not the part here. We're measuring on the outside of that, and we're going to come to 90 there. If I break this down, this is going to become 180 degrees. Then I'm going to add that part in there, and then I can see I'm going more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. So you need to learn this off by heart. You have to be familiar with the diagrams, and you need to know how to name the angles before we carry on to geometric problems, right? So we have acute angle. You can see on the top part we have 3 types of angles. We've got an acute angle which becomes less than 90. Then we've got a right angle which is equals to 90, and then an obtuse angle which is between 90 and 180. Then we get a straight angle which is equals to 180. Now the bottom part is not divided into 2. The whole bottom part here is a reflex angle. So we're starting at 0. It's greater than 180 but less than 360 degrees. So that the fifth one is just cut into one angle there. So we've got greater than 180 and less than 360 degrees. And if we measure in complete turn, it would become 360 degrees. Half a turn is a straight angle, 180 degrees. Complete turn is a revolution, which is 360 degrees.